Okay, so very sincere welcome to everyone who is here at this present time, and also to anyone who might be watching the recording later on. Welcome, glad that you are here. Today we are going to practice a meditation together and also look at some Zen teachings, some Zen Buddhist teachings. The intention and the way that we practice meditation here is not about force or control. The work is not to empty our mind or control our mind, but it is more a practice of being with the mind. So it's a way of showing up to this reality that is the body that's here at this present moment, and also the mind as it is in this present moment, and becoming very interested and very aware of that direct experience of the body and mind as they are happening right now. So to do that and to have some degree of success in doing that, we need to have a real willingness to let go of our normal way of reactivity. So normally we are just like an animal. When we are hungry, we go and chase something down to eat it. When we are tired, we go and crawl in a corner, we go to sleep. When we have a desire for something, we chase after it. Okay? Here in our meditation, it's more that we are starting by stopping. Okay? We are starting by stopping whatever we happen to be doing. Okay? You have a job, you have a relationship, you have a goal, you have some desire, something that you're seeking, something that you want to get out of this experience right now. And the first part is that we're stopping that. And so the degree in which you can have success in meditation, specifically something like Zen meditation, is to the degree that you can let go. Not that you can force or control or try to think your way through. So one of the main experiences that we're going to deal with as we start to practice is that we might feel uncomfortable, or we might feel sleepy, or we might have some idea that comes to our mind. Okay? The practice is not really to control that, and we can't control it. If you've been meditating for 5 or 10 years, you're still going to have uncomfortable experiences happen, comfortable experiences happen, thoughts happen, distractions happen. So it's not that we're controlling that, and you shouldn't expect to control that. But instead, it's to be aware of that and to come back, to return to the noticing. Okay? And we primarily do that through our meditation method. So the meditation method is just like the tool, the anchor point, the focus point, that the method of focus that not really helps you control the mind, but helps you to come back to the noticing rather than any particular content that you notice of like or dislike, thought or story or experience in the body. Coming back to this noticing. So we'll start today with a few minutes together of meditation, and then we will get into some Zen teachings. All right? And do your best. And even if you completely fail at meditating and you're the worst meditator in the world, this is still an opportunity to show up, to face your body, to face your mind, and to be intimate with life. And so that's valuable whether or not you have success in meditation. Okay? So the first thing is that we can find our intention. We can find our sincerity that we do want to be here. Why do you want to be here? Why do you want to practice? Okay. And that doesn't need to be a complicated story, but just finding your intentionality and your sincerity to be here, this present moment. Finding that sincerity, you can kind of make a commitment to yourself, and you can make a commitment to the people who are here that you're really going to try, and that you're not going to quickly or easily give up your practice at the first sign of difficulty or distraction. Okay? And become aware that there's a gathering of real human beings here that are all doing the same thing, that are all facing and practicing together at this moment. So allow that to support you, invite you, and inspire you, and maybe to help you feel a sense of accountability so that you do stay with this practice, stay with this present moment. Okay, so finding all that, we start any meditation practice by finding a comfortable, stable position for our body. Some good pointers are to sit upright so that your shoulders are back and your chest is open, your stomach is open. Take a few moments to really get comfortable, whatever that means to you. And don't be in a rush to find some meditation position, but take a few moments to find a position of comfort. Okay, a nice, pleasant way to sit. We are here to have a good time as well, to enjoy. So to start, we have to make sure that the body is comfortable. So finding that comfortable position for the body, you can put your hands in your lap or on your knees. You can close your eyes. And upon closing your eyes, begin to feel the mind turn around. Begin to feel the light turn around so that we start to look inward rather than outward. And in that looking inward, we can start to feel and notice the breath as it comes in through the nose and flows into the body. We can start to feel that there is really a body here, and that this body is quite precious and important. And as we feel the breath flowing into the body, feeling our awareness, feeling our presence flowing into the body. Breathing in as deeply as we need to. There's a great Buddhist teacher who has coined this term kindfulness. So it's a kind mindfulness. It's a kind presence, attention that we give to the body at this moment. Start to notice all the different aspects of your body and your breathing as you are sitting here. allowing the breath and this experiencing, this awareness of the body to be the anchor point that you come back to, so you don't fall into thinking or looking outside or solving some kind of problem, but just coming back to the breath and the body. And any tension or tightness in your face, just give your kind attention to that. Relax and release any tension, tightness, uncomfortableness. Just at this moment, breathing and being aware. Feeling the breath as it flows in and flows out. And we can try to feel a sense of appreciation of the reality of the body at this moment. We appreciate that the body is not a thought, it's not a story, it's not a worry, it's not complicated in any kind of intellectual way, and it is here right now. The heart, the lungs, the skeletal structure, we can breathe and feel a sense of appreciation, kind attention to the body. Feel this sense of enjoyment, not in going anywhere, not in getting anything, but just in being with. Calming and relaxing any tensions, tightnesses, knots that come up in the body or the mind through just breathing, just being aware at this moment. Remembering this willingness to give up. You get annoyed, you get sleepy, you get a thought, you get a feeling, oh, I need to go somewhere else. This isn't working. Well, maybe it's not, but remember this willingness to give up, to let go of what you experience, whether it's positive or negative or neutral or a thought. Breathing and being aware, willing to give up, willing to let go of whatever we become aware of. So, this is the field of freedom, not in getting what we want or avoiding what we don't want, but in being willing to let go of this constant attempt to control, this constant following through with our desire. It's this freedom of the only thing we need to do right now, the only problem we need to solve is not doing anything at all, just breathing, just being here with a sense of kindness, sincerity, and awareness. And sometimes meditation is to endure, to face, to be with unpleasantness. But through our breath, we face that unpleasantness in a gentle and kind way. We don't need to be afraid of unpleasantness. But coming back to that awareness itself, coming back to just breathing. Coming back to not assuming, not getting stuck in, I need to do this, I need to do that. Instead of getting stuck on, it's like this, stepping into, what is this? This curiosity, this exploration of our present moment experience. We feel that reactivity coming up, that resistance coming up. Well, what the heck is that? What's going on? Coming back to just sitting here, breathing and aware. Okay. So at this time, you can open your eyes if you're closed. You can move your body a little bit. It's oftentimes nice to massage the face after a period of meditation. Something that's really important to understand is that our meditation practice is all about consistency. It's not about intensity, especially as a beginner. The last thing you want to do is burn yourself out or make meditation to be this intense kind of thing, this struggle, what have you. It's consistency, it's patience. So a little goes a long way. So we're going to look today at some Zen teachings, and the Zen teacher that we will be supported by today is the wonderful and well-known teacher Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh is maybe we can say one of the foremost monks that have brought Zen to the West, Zen Buddhism, and Buddhism in general to Western people. One of the largest monk communities is from the tradition of Thich Nhat Hanh. It's known as Plum Village. And Thich Nhat Hanh has written hundreds of books that are, known throughout the world, and it's a way of Zen and a way of teaching that is both profound and very deep, but also accessible and inclusive. So we're going to be looking through some of those teachings today. And so how we do that is that I will read through the teaching, and then we'll stop for a little bit and we will talk about it. We'll explore it together, and we'll see if there's something that comes up, something you want to ask a question about, and we'll move through it like that, okay? So, listen closely. The truth of happiness. Happiness is a simple choice to take. Being content with what we have and facing all the struggles with the same can lead to a blissful state of happiness. Challenges are meant to hit us in life, and longing to resolve them and get over it by any means wouldn't make us happy. So challenges, difficulties, barriers, boundaries, unsatisfactory feelings in the body or the mind are meant to hit us in life. And longing to resolve them, and get over them by any means would not make us happy. I felt it when I lived in the present and tailored my ways of perception. Letting go of the past and not worrying about the future does lead to a happy and content life. The trick is to focus on the moment, to find peace and tranquility in the moment. This is when I figured out that true happiness is just a peaceful way of life that is devoid of any other overwhelming emotion like excitement. This is the art of letting go. The idea might sound self-centered and rude, but it is true that we have to let go of anything that no longer serves the need. As humans, we all have the tendency to possess and relish things that are of no use. I decided to perceive things with a fair eye. While doing that, I was able to segregate the things that I don't actually need in life. My priority was to focus on things that were of necessity at that time. It removed the mental burden quite effortlessly and brings in a contentment that provides happiness. So, what is necessary right now? What is necessary right now for your happiness? Let go of everything else. So, our ability to be happy is mostly found in our ability to let go of what doesn't serve us, of what's not useful, anything that exists outside of this moment, this breath, this heart. Chasing after that, trying to find that, trying to get that, is just going to promote suffering and worry and distress. But if we can find what we are looking for in this present moment, then we can start to cultivate this happiness, this peace, and not necessarily chasing after excitement, not necessarily chasing after some kind of special experience, but this contentment with what we have at this moment, exactly what we have at this moment, finding that to be enough. Then we can be happy in any moment. Does anyone have an idea about that? Question about that?
Yes, I have a question. If you always choose to live in the moment and you only focus about what is happening right now, and you never consider what is going to happen in the future, then how are you going to be prepared for it? Like we can all live in the moment right now. We can all be satisfied with what is happening right now. But things are going to change, right? Things are going to be different tomorrow. How are we going to be prepared for that if we just live in the moment all the time and being satisfied by that?
Whatever peace you can find at this present moment is going to be supportive for you in the difficulties coming forward, moving forward. The issue and the truth is that most of us can't find happiness in this present moment. Most everyone can't find contentment or freedom or joy or calm in this present moment. That's why we're all here. Because we aren't able to be in the present and we aren't able to use the present as a source of happiness and joy and healing. We don't know how to do it. We know how to fight and struggle for some kind of desire or attachment, some type of goal that we want to reach. And we find that we never meet that. and that our constant striving to meet this desire and get this thing never makes us feel happy. So the best way to prepare for the future is to be as fully here in the present as we possibly can.
Could I just say something in response that I don't know if may be true or not, but like it also seems like this is probably just kind of paraphrasing what you've just said, but like the tools that to be happy um in the future, like when in the future are the same as the tools that you have like right now to be happy in this present moment. So like by living in the moment now, you are sort of like the present exists this for like the entire life you're living in the present moment. So like if you embrace now, then sorry, it's not really a question, but I don't even know if that made sense or not, but yeah, sorry.
So to find contentment and to find freedom in this present moment is inclusive, not exclusive. This present moment can involve sharpening knives. This present moment can involve training the body, training the mind. It can involve preparing for war. It can involve preparing for peace. Okay, so this present moment and finding happiness, finding joy, finding freedom in this present moment is inclusive of all the different facets of life, all the different experiences that happen. It's not a matter of rejecting anything, but it's accepting everything in the here and now, and to let go of our desire for some other place, for some other time. And the truth is that we don't know that there's going to be some other place and some other time. We aren't guaranteed our next moment, let alone tomorrow. Okay, go ahead, Ryan.
I was gonna kind of add to responding to Daniel, if that's okay. Oh, can you hear me now?
It's a little bit better.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was gonna add in response to Daniel that like by kind of coming to appreciate the now, you're practicing coming to appreciate the now. Like it might not be easy at first because you're concerned about the future, but as you come back to this moment and the next moment, you're practicing for when like tomorrow when it's tough you do have something to be prepared for that because you're prepared with your ability to come back to the present moment, if that makes sense, you know?
Another way to say it is that wherever you go, that's where you'll be. This is where you are right now. And wherever you go, it's going to be this is where you are right now. So the more fully you can be in the present, the more fully you can find truth in the present. That's the more fully that you can find truth, period. You're not going to find it anywhere else. We're not going to find happiness anywhere else. We're not going to find healing anywhere else. So we have to take advantage of this opportunity that presents itself when certain causes and conditions come together to allow us to meditate or to allow us to be introspective, to be aware of this kind of light of our mind, to be aware of this present moment. We need to take advantage of that to look as closely as we can. The situation is not as it appears to be. It's a little bit brighter than that. It's a little bit more sharp and clear and lively than that. in all kinds of different unique ways. But this kind of system of shallowness that we develop of I'm tired, the world is tired, I'm hungry, the world is hungry, I feel dark, the world is dark. It's just a kind of false way of living, confused way of living. So our practice here and the purpose of meditation from the Buddhist side of things is to investigate, to know about the truth. And we can say this is the truth in the same way that death is the truth, that birth is the truth. When do you think you're going to die? Tomorrow? No, you're going to die now, for sure. But we think we have a tomorrow. We think we have whatever, but it's not really the case. This is the home of birth and death. So if death is meaningful to you, then this present moment should be significantly meaningful to you and not controllable, but knowable. Death is knowable. Birth is knowable. If we can look closely enough, if we can look in the right way.
I'm sorry, is this time for questions after the meditation?
No. Unless it has to
Alright.
do with the reading.
It has to do with what you just said.
Go ahead.
What does death like? What is the meaning of death according to Buddhism?
Death is passing away. Death is something that comes into being, going out of being. I
So
think
there is no reincarnation, or
not in the way.
according to. Sorry.
There's not reincarnation in terms of animated movie of you becoming a squirrel or something like that. But in Buddhism, there is an understanding of a non-self. So rather than there being a real true you or a real true me, we can say that according to causes and conditions, according to karma, according to cause and effect, there's a certain kind of self-experience coming about right now. At this present moment, I'm having a certain kind of self-experience. You're having a certain kind of self-experience. Other people are also. We can say that in Buddhism and Buddhist psychology, there are different realms of experience. So there can be a realm of experience that's quite heavenly. It's just like a realm of gods. Maybe you have great wealth, great power, or you only experience pleasure, you experience very little pain or uncomfortableness, you have everything you want, something like that. We may have something like the animal realm, where basically you are living entirely through your animalistic drives. You're searching for sex, you're searching for food, you're searching for sleep, and that's it, and you're living like that. So rebirth in Buddhism is not what people imagine it is in any way, for sure. There are a lot of, some people take it more literalistic, but even taking it literalistic is not in the way that we as Western people would imagine it, or in the way that someone who doesn't know about Buddhist philosophy would imagine it, because rebirth and birth and death in Buddhism are a part of something called dependent origination. So the only reason that you are born, the only reason that you pass away is because of ignorance. If you're not ignorant, you're not born and you don't die. Okay? So depending on the actions that you take now, it's going to affect the state, the experience, the self-experience you find yourself to be in moving forward.
Sorry, what do you mean by ignorant in that regard?
Not knowing the truth, being in the dark, being
The truth being.
no self, no permanence, nothing to be absolutely satisfying.
So, depression, basically.
There's a lot of different ways to look at it. But we can say that the truth is not something that can be summed up in words or phrases, but that the truth has to be known through direct experience, through the process of investigation. The more that you investigate, the more that you can know about the truth. So we are here to practice that investigation and to have supporting cause and conditions to investigate. As a Western people, we tend to want the whole enchilada right out of the gate. We want to know the absolute truth. We want to know the absolute reality. We want all of our questions answered, all of our intellectual questions answered. But you have to become a vegetarian first. That enchilada needs to be vegan, so to speak. That means that our questioning needs to come from a virtuous place. Our questioning needs to come from a place of stability, a place of groundedness, a place of consistency to show up in a scientific way to investigate reality. When we approach these profound questions, or we want to know about the absolute truth of reality from an unstable place, or from a dark place, or a confused place, we're not really going to get anywhere. So the first steps on the Buddhist path are finding virtue, finding goodness, finding our sincerity, to do good, to do more skillful activities and less unskillful activities. Okay, skillful activity means that it promotes wholesome states of mind, states of peace, states of compassion, states of joy, of not so much selfishness, and also less unwholesome states, less afflicted mind states, negative states of mind. Okay, does anyone else have any questions at this moment? We have one question over on the YouTube. Daniel Goldman says, whose truth is it? Okay, and this is a very good question. Who is asking the question? Who is sitting here meditating? What is this? What's happening? We take out the assumption of someone. We take out the assumption of a self. We take out the assumption of a real, true version of ourselves, and we take in this questioning, this looking, this curiosity, this exploration. What's happening right now? What is this? Okay, and that questioning is very inclusive. It's very explorative. And it is, okay, Daniel said I answered it, so I won't say anything else. If I answer it, that's enough for me. Okay, so we're going to continue with a little bit more reading from Thich Nhat Hanh. Okay? Many of us have been running all our lives. We have the feeling that we need to run into the future, away from the past, out from wherever we are. In truth, we don't need to go anywhere. We just need to sit down and look deeply to discover that the whole cosmos is right here within us. Our body is a wonder containing all kinds of information. To understand ourselves is to understand the whole cosmos. So this investigation of the truth from a Buddhist perspective, the highest level of spirituality, the highest level of enlightenment is built on an investigation of this body, this present moment, okay? And it's personal, it's not story-based, it's not personal meaning it's this body at this moment, it's not something you get from outside. And it's to investigate this heart, to investigate the eyes and the seeing. Okay, 99% of the time, 0.999% of the time, we're looking at this TikTok, we're looking at this person, we're looking at this idea in the world. Our mind is kind of overlaid, right? Pushed out. Our perceptions and our judgments and all this are pushed out through our eyes, our eye consciousness. So instead of getting wrapped up in all of these stories, investigating the eyes themselves, investigating the seeing itself, and that this is where we can find the truth. This is where we can start to know about the profundity of this cosmos that is within us. This is how we can begin to understand ourselves, not through intellectual frameworks or stories like, okay, now I'm this person, I did this, I did that, and now I'm okay, now I have this position, okay, I'm going to avoid that, I'm going to get this, I'm going to go there, I'm going to do that. No. But through this way of understanding ourselves is to look into the body, look into the heart, look into the breath, give our attention to the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. The way out is in. So long as we think we are a separate self, distinct from the world around us, we think we can get out of the world. But once we see that we are the world, that we are made entirely of non-us elements, we realize that we do not need to go running after anything outside of us. The world cannot get out of the world. We already are everything we are looking for. Just as a wave doesn't need to go looking for water, we don't need to go looking for the ultimate. The wave is the water. You already are what you want to become. You are made of the sun, moon, and stars. You have everything inside you. In Christianity, there is a phrase, resting in God. When we let go of all seeking and striving, it is as if we are resting in God. We establish ourselves firmly in the present moment. We dwell in the ultimate. We rest in our cosmic body. Dwelling in the ultimate doesn't require faith or belief. A wave doesn't need to believe it is water. The wave is already water in the very here and now. To me, God is not outside us or outside reality. God is inside. God is not an external entity for us to seek, for us to believe in or not believe in. God, Nirvana, the ultimate, is inherent in every one of us. The kingdom of God is available in every moment. The question is whether we are available to it. With mindfulness, concentration, and insight, touching nirvana, touching our cosmic body or the kingdom of God becomes possible with every breath and every step. So there is a profundity, a depth of reality that catches our eye, grabs our attention. We have this feeling, this understanding that we're not just characters in a TV show or in a movie, or that we're not just monkeys playing around with our desires, but that there's something accessible to us that is not so animalistic, not so base, not so deprived, not so defiled, not so confused. But it's not enough to know about that or to be curious about that. We need to know it for ourselves. Otherwise, we can't enjoy it, and we can't use it, and we can't heal from our depravity, our complicatedness, our wasted energy in thought and stories. So our practice of meditation is to touch God, to touch that cosmic body, that deeper truth. And we find it by stopping seeking and no longer looking outside for something to satisfy us. This is the practice of meditation.
Can I ask a question? Thank you. How does us leaving behind our desires make us come closer to God, or come closer to God, or being more whole, I guess?
Well, the very nature of desiring something means that you're not whole. And we all want to be whole. We all want to be complete. We want to be satisfied. So the very nature of building up this desire, this craving, this attachment in our mind to some expectation, to some outcome, to some goal, sets us up for failure because it makes us to be incomplete right off the bat.
But it's not the paradox, right? I mean, you can't get rid of desires. It's part of being a human being, right?
No, not necessarily. The more that we desire, the more that we will suffer. Okay? The less that we desire, the more that we can be content with what we have right now. If we set up limits in our own mind for what we can experience and what other people can experience, then our lives are always going to be defined by those limits. But if we can practice to detach, to abandon the importance that we give to thinking, really, then those limits become limitless. And we can go way beyond what we think. Because really what we think is just always stuck in the realm of the shallow. And we can never touch the profundity of life if we're just relying on our thinking. We should not take our thoughts so seriously. This is actually really important. And if you take the spiritual path or the meditation path quite seriously, if you attend a meditation retreat or if you start to develop a regular, consistent meditation practice, or you develop friendships and relationships with other spiritual practitioners, lived experience, you'll find quickly that the thoughts are not so important, not so real, true, or valuable. The thoughts about ourselves, the thoughts about other people, but in fact, it's our way of being at this moment that is important. Our way of letting go that brings the most value to our lives, not getting, not chasing after.
What about basic desires, like physiological desires, like drinking water and eating food?
What about
That's
them?
a desire. Yeah, that's a desire, right? But why would it be necessary to get rid of that? Because it is undoubtedly a desire.
If you get rid of it, then you will quickly die, and you won't keep asking me questions. So
Yeah, I get that.
It's not to set up in our mind, what if I can control the universe? What if I can be the king of the world? And then what about that? That's just to be a fool. That's not to be the king of anything, okay? We can pretend to be a master of our mind. We can pretend to be our master of reality and say, what if? What if? But this is really detached from reality. This is detached from our lived experience. And so it comes back to what I was saying before. We want to be the master of the universe before we even know how to be a good person. And this is at the core of our desire, that we want everything all at once. And we don't even want the truth, but we want some answer to a question that doesn't come from the truth. It's a game that we play. Well, what if I don't have desire for eating? I don't know.
You'll die.
You'll find out. Try it out. See what happens. We have natural needs as human beings, and we can take care of those needs. We can eat without animalistic desire. We can, Alice, thank you for being here. We can drink water without animalistic desire. This desire is really more of something that comes from a place of self-clinging, craving. And you don't need to crave to drink water. You don't need to crave to eat food. Eating food is just eating food. Drinking water is just drinking water. And we can develop this ability to live like that and to practice like that.
The point I was trying to make was that we have desires that are necessary, absolutely necessary for our survival, right? But if you want to get rid of all desires, which I guess is the point of Zen, right? I think so. That seems kind of, to my stupid brain, seems kind of illogical. Was kind of the point I was trying to make.
Logic will never get to it, for sure. Logic will never get to it. So you have to abandon logic before you can understand the truth. Okay?
So I'm sorry. I'm just confused. Isn't logic kind of necessary to get to any sort of truth?
No. Because this is a truth
How?
that you can't get to. You can't reach it because this truth is not you, doesn't have a you in it. It's the truth of a star. You cannot get to the truth of a star. You can't even get to the moon. So this you, this observer, this self, this someone is a base kind of assumption. And it isn't necessarily true. So to start with a Zen logic, you have to abandon all of your assumptions up to this point. You have to abandon this assumption of someone, of something. You have to start back at this. So what is this? And you don't take a cheap answer for that. You spend your whole life asking, what is this? And trying to get to the core, to the root of it. So the truth of Zen is just like the truth of a star.
Could you give me a hint to what this might be?
No, I couldn't give you any hint towards that, because it's the questioning that's important, not the answer. It's the present that's important, not the thing that we're going to get out of it or moving forward.
Hi, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Can we all experience truth in a different way? Can my truth be different from your truth?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But we can say that there is a truth that is not based in words or phrases. There is a truth that is not based in ones or zeros. And that truth is kind of permeating throughout all reality. You know, so sometimes people say star seed or we are stardust. Okay, and so there's this interconnected reality that is permeating through all directions, and we are not particularly separate from that. We're not separate from that in any way. But because we have these tools of language, these tools of words and phrases, we can also often get trapped in grandiosity and somehow think that our words and phrases can make up reality, when in fact that's just ludicrous. Our words and phrases can't make a child. They can't make food. They can't control the heart. The brain isn't made up of words and phrases. So there's this lived human experience that is not built on words and phrases. And if you think that you're going to use words and phrases to get at it, no, you couldn't. You couldn't even use them to drink water, let alone to get to the deeper truth of the world.
But they do contribute to it, though, right?
Do words and phrases contribute to the birth of stars? Or
No,
to water?
to the way that you feel your heartbeat, or the rate of it, or and such.
Could be.
Yeah, it correlates.
Sure.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why do we insist on seeing ourselves as separate when we are interconnected? And then why do we think that we can control things when we're just a part of it?
Maybe it's a kind of confusion. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, what is the connection between attachment and desire? Like, which comes first? I know that there's like not a formula to it, but does attachment make something desire? And
I'm not sure about that. Anyone else have an idea about attachment and desire?
Is there any way you could turn your mic up, Ryan? I couldn't hear you.
sorry, I can't turn my mic up. I don't know like how to do that on my computer. But I was asking for clarification on the relationship between attachment and desire, Kat.
Maybe we can say it's something of attachment is something that we are holding on to or stuck on at this present moment, and desire is something we are seeking out in the future. And that maybe the foundation of our neuroses or our negative mental states is that there's this self-clinging or attachment to what's being experienced right now, that we're kind of wrapping around it, we're clinging around it, and then we concoct, we extrapolate from that all of these ideas about the environment, about ourselves, about the world. But desire is kind of something that we're looking for outside of this moment, and attachment is something that we are stuck on at this moment. Something that we're holding on to now.
You can also have an attachment to things that you do not desire.
That's right. That's a good point. Yeah.
Question. Is a desire intrinsically negative? Like, is it, no matter what, is it negative? Like, we have desires for a lot of stuff, like necessary stuff, like sex, for example, for the future, for the race to continue and stuff. Like, right? So,
Well, I don't know if it's necessary for the race to continue or humans to continue. It's something that can happen. Okay. Is it necessary for you to eat? Is it necessary for you to sleep? Is it necessary for you to drink water? I don't know that it's necessary. It certainly isn't permanent. It's a temporary state. It's a temporary situation. You eating, you sleeping, you living is completely temporary. is not something that's going to be happening 50 years from now or whatever, 100 years from now. And it's certainly not something that has been happening for most of reality. So it is something that happens, and it's important that we take care of our health. But is it necessary for reality that you drink water and eat food? I don't know about that. Is reality, so like Thich Nhat Hanh was saying about by going in, we find the cosmos. So like by going in, we find the truth of all reality. But by going in, we don't find the truth of this self, this someone, this person, this, 100 years. We find the truth of all reality. And so that someone, that self-fixation, that importance that we give to ourselves as being more important than everything else is exclusive. It's locked into these 100 years. Most of us won't get that. But the truth of the cosmos, which is what we, I think many of us here are here to learn about and to understand, is not it's not locked into this body, and it's not locked into our suffering or our pleasure or our desires or our fear, or these 100 years, but it is all pervasive. And so is it necessary for that all pervasive cosmic truth to eat? Maybe at that moment of eating, it's a part of it, but is it, I don't know. I don't think that there's any separation, but there is an answer that I can share with you, something that I'd like to refer to Zen Master Lin Ji here, which we're going through in the morning sessions. Zen Master Lin Ji said, give me a moment. Zen Master Lin Ji says a lot of really good and helpful things. So definitely invite you to join our morning session tomorrow. But okay. Oh no. Okay. As long as you seek something, it can only lead to suffering. Better to do nothing. So as long as you seek something, it can only lead to suffering. Better to do nothing. So if it's necessary to seek something, then in that case it would be necessary to suffer. And that would be I think a miserable position. And I think the most happy times in our lives are times of contentment, where we don't need to seek anything outside of ourselves. We don't need to seek anything outside of this present moment. So we've been going for almost an hour and a half. So we're going to wrap up with some meditation before we finish. Okay, so we can all take a moment to find our meditation position. Comfortable, stable position for the body. Okay, finding our meditation position, we can close our eyes if it's comfortable to do so. We can find the breath flowing in and flowing out. We can begin to notice a quality of joy and peace and calm in the fact that there's nothing for us to do right now. There's no problem to solve. There's nothing to understand. But right now, just sitting comfortably, aware of the breath as it is flowing in and flowing out. The mind tends to think, the body tends to feel, the lungs tend to breathe. Just being aware of what's happening right now with any secondary thought, with anything added or anything needed to take away. But just breathing and being aware at this present moment. Allow yourself to fully release, fully relax and let go of any important thought or any real idea. Just sitting, just breathing, just being aware. whatever you get stuck on, whatever you get involved with, whether it's a feeling in the body or an idea in the mind, be willing to let that go. Be willing to put it down. Be willing to just breathe. Just be aware. We will finish our practice together today with some metta meditation, loving kindness meditation. So we can say that our practice up to now has been showing up to the garden, and then the garden of our mind, and tilling the fields, opening up the soil, opening up the heart, deepening the mind. And we can now plant some seeds of metta, plant seeds of loving kindness, loving friendliness, starting towards ourselves. So you can repeat after me with your inner voice or your outer voice. Repeating after me. May I be happy and at peace. May I be happy and at peace. May I be truly happy and at peace. May I be free from worry. May I be free from worry. May I be completely free from worry. May I be free from fear. May I be healthy. May my heart be open and my mind be at peace. May my heart be open and may my mind be at peace. May my heart be open, and may my mind be at peace. May those that I love be safe and free from suffering. May those that I love be safe and free from suffering. May those that I love be safe and free from suffering. May those that I hardly know be safe and free from suffering. May those people that I barely know be safe and free from suffering. May those people that I barely know be safe and free from suffering. May those that I have difficulties with be safe and free from suffering. May those that I have difficulty with be safe and free from suffering. May those that I have difficulty with be safe and free from all suffering. Feeling this loving kindness, this loving friendliness in our own hearts, and feeling this ability to share that out, to extend that out to our loved ones, to those we barely know, and even to those we have difficulty with. I invite everyone to bring their hands together with me, and we will share our loving kindness, our loving friendliness, and the merits, the good effects from our good practices together here with all beings. Not to keep this loving friendliness for ourselves or the good effects from our meditation to ourselves, but to offer out, to share out, to bless out towards all beings. So please repeat after me. May the loving kindness in my own heart and the merit from this practice be shared out with all beings. May the loving kindness in my own heart and the peace generated from this practice be shared out with all beings. May this loving kindness and this practice of peace benefit and support all beings. May all beings in the 10 directions support this loving kindness. May all beings in the 10 directions support this practice of peace. May we all be happy and free from suffering. And may we all do our best to support each other with gentleness and understanding on this path. May it be so. May it be so. May it truly be so. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, we can all make a deep bow to each other and also to our own practice. It takes a lot of bravery and a lot of sincerity to show up and practice meditation together in community like this. And when we bow at the end here, not only bowing to the people who ask questions or me as the facilitator, but bowing to everyone who made the decision to show up and join together in this practice and mutually support each other. Okay? So our next session will be tomorrow morning. We'll have a session at 9, which is a class that I have for my followers, students in Vietnam. So you'll be able to watch that on YouTube. And then at 10 a.m., or maybe a little bit after 10 a.m., we'll have a live session here on the Discord and also shared on YouTube that will be focusing on a continued reading of Zen Master Linji. So very kind of deep Zen teachings, and there'll be a lot more content in that one than today. Today was a little bit of a unique experience. I'm a bit tired, so we just kind of winged it and saw where it went. Okay, thank you all for being here. See you again soon, and please feel free to lean into this community, ask for support and offer support, and let's continue on this path together. Thank you.
Thank you, Bouncing. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
If you joined for the live class here on TikTok, make sure that you join through the YouTube channel or the Discord moving forward. It's a much better way to watch and follow along with these teachings and these events. Anyone who's on YouTube, I will share with you the invite link to the Discord so you can also join if you're interested. But you can also follow along through YouTube. That's totally okay. And the time zones that I always use are New York City time. All right, so when I say time zones, it's always New York City time. That's just like our standard. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Okay.